Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Conservatives support a strong, free, independent Ukraine. We always have and we always will. Ukraine, as defined by the borders agreed upon in the Budapest Memorandum, which was signed by, among others, Russia. Mr. Speaker, it is critically important, as we reflect on our support for Ukraine, that we not just speak of seeking victory eventually, but that we speak of the urgency of victory as soon as possible. The Ukrainian people have shown incredible resilience, and democratic populations throughout the Western world have been supportive of Ukraine. But history teaches us that there is a time horizon after which this support becomes more and more difficult to sustain, which is why we as leaders need to push for the continuation of that support, but we also need to push for victory as quickly as possible. And that means not just expressing aspirations about things to be done eventually, but it means recognizing the real urgency in delivering to Ukraine the weapons and the other things that it needs urgently in order to be able to defeat the Russian aggressors. Mr. Speaker, as we talk about that support, I want to highlight that particular issue of urgency, because for too long we have seen announcements made without follow-through. We've seen significant delays here in Canada from this government, but I think in other cases as well, in actually delivering promised support. And we, as the official opposition, have been continually pushing the government to get from announcement to result much, much faster. Mr. Speaker, earlier in this debate, I challenged the NDP over comments they'd made critical before the further invasion about delivering lethal weapons. And the NDP said, well, of course, we took that position at the time because we wanted to pursue peace. Mr. Speaker, I want to underline the critical importance of peace through strength. Peace through strength is something we need now more than ever. In a more dangerous world, with more threats, with our new Cold War adversaries working together to threaten our security, we need to have a strong military. We need to acquire the military commitment, the military equipment to give to our allies in need. We need to strengthen ourselves and our allies, because it is through strength that we achieve peace. The doctrine of peace through weakness has always failed. Brian Mulroney, who we honor in a particular way this week, understood that. When he and Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan, and in a different sense with a spiritual strength working with Pope John Paul II, they stood up to the Soviet regime. They stood up through strength, not through weakness and compromise, not through failing to hand over the weapons that were required, but achieved peace through strength, justice through strength. This is what we need. We need to strengthen ourselves and our allies and deliver the weapons that are required urgently. Mr. Speaker, as people are asking about the costs for this support, I want to say that the costs of inaction are much, much greater. But I also do want to highlight item N of the security agreement. We support the entire security agreement. I want to particularly highlight item N, which is about the seizure of Russian assets. One critical way that we can support Ukraine with their current needs and their future needs is by doing more to seize Russian assets and repurpose those assets to support Ukraine. This is a just and necessary way to support Ukraine in their time of need by repurposing property that is from the Russian side and can be supporting the Ukrainian people. So, Mr. Speaker, in this critical time in the world, critical time in the struggle in Ukraine, and critical time in terms of global security, it's time for us to recognize the urgency of action, the urgency of getting support to the front lines, the urgency of establishing the munitions manufacturing systems, of moving forward with manufacturing the munitions here in Canada and getting it to the front lines as quickly as possible, and to recommit ourselves to peace through strength, recognizing that peace is never achieved through weakness, that we only will achieve peace through strength. Thank you.